into a space where they're just not with the taunts, the knockups, the Faramis.
Exactly. I don't like it.
Very weird draft indeed. Let's see here for the composition, I guess. I'm looking back to see if it actually went that way, right? Is Hilda actually the roamer? Because I think you can swap the Arlet to the jungle position, give the Hilda lane against the Martis, so it does have a better time. But I do think it's still going to be on Keyboy.
I don't know. We'll see, Gani. Take us into the portal.
Land of Dawn, here we go. Will Geek Slate find the win and clean sweep? ONIC 2-0, destroying their record, who is at 7-0. Looking at the drafts, ONIC very, very tough here, but let's see if they can make it work. Jana, though, will still have the Martis, so yeah, it's going to be Fredrin EXP still. Well, let's see here.
Yeah.
What will ONIC do?
I mean, okay, earlier on, I get the point of the Hilda, right? I think pre-level 4, Jadera is going to be very caught low, even first blooded by CW because of how much damage the Hilda has. But that pressure is going to be nullified, right? A bit more after Jadera hits at level 4, gets the go away as well to prevent the damage coming in from Hilda.
Well, fun fact, there's the answer, I guess, right? We questioned the Hilda pick, but it already is going to be answered here. I think Echo did the same thing to ONIC, I believe, with this to Blacklist in the Grand Finals with the Hilda pick against the Diggy. If you're able to dish damage out to burst the Diggy before and force a time journey before the team fights, that's when you can get the dub. And Geek Slate have basically fallen to that skirmish, that 2v2 that they thought they won. Here though, it's still Jadera with a massive advantage on the best girl, best skin, LBBX Jujutsu Kaisen. The collaboration is here, Donnie. It's here, it's here. You have it, Arashi have it, Eterna have it. We all have it, but you guys too should have it. But let's see here with the first blood of what can ONIC translate it again, avert it to again more perhaps.
I mean, a lot of pressure is what they've converted onto it, right? Jadera is not having the best time unless it's a 1v1, and you could see her being able to win it a little bit more in terms of that range. But I'm a bit disappointed with that EXP lane. I thought that Jana would be on the Fredrin, but you can see here already an engage for both of the teams.
Let's see, I mean, Marcus EXP not too good during team fights perhaps, but Alter popped. Now Sans taunted, Kyrie still finding the retribution. Kyrie picking up another kill, Beloyski falls as well, and Luke will die as well. ONIC first turtle grabbed a 3-man knockout as well. Again, ONIC with the dub in the first turtle this time, not the same that happened in game number 1, but you're right, A-turn. I actually just realized it right now. The thing you mentioned, Marta's in the jungle. So yeah, never mind. I don't think it's completely like, again, I think they just utilized the position wrong here. I agree that the Martas might not have the best impact in the team fights, but again, it's all about that laning, right? To bully the Arlet. Meanwhile, the Fredrin, you do have those taunts, you do have those knockouts to displace the Arlet, but it's still the Arlet having mostly a good time. And here, Jadera might just be dove on with a good poke from the side of CW. Let's see ONIC though, they're looking for the setup here, top side, Keyboy, a little overextended here, Jadera, Jana, Beloyski, not enough damage, Keyboy still gets away with it.
This is a little bit concerning for Geek Slate, because if we refer back to the keys to victory, one of the main important factors to Geek Slate's wins is the fact that Jadera wins this laning phase. I mean, pre-level 4, like we mentioned, it's going to be a little bit difficult, but hopefully after that, they can equalize a little bit better, realizing that CW is still a level ahead of Jadera. I'm not really sure about the gold difference because we haven't seen the items just yet, but even that, it's already worrisome for Geek Slate.
If you take a look at the kills, right, how it's placed, I think it's really good for ONIC right now. CW with 1 kill, I think most of the gold lead has to be around that gold lane, with CW getting just a better farm overall, and also getting a few hits into the turret shield gold. ONIC can just utilize this again. We know if CW gets ahead on the Beatrix, he is going to be a big problem. And if Melissa falls behind in the laning phase, it's a big problem. Like you mentioned, this is the big concern. Melissa scales, but she needs to stay even, or she needs to be ahead optimally against her laner. Was ONIC winning the first turtle? Let's see. Will Geek respond? Boots trying to find an opening here on towards the boy, popping that call alter and perhaps forcing that time journey as well. No ultimate, just a call alter here from the side of a boy. Kyrie securing it comfortably again. The taunt comes to Keyboy, just harassing, being a nuisance in the jungle as Kyrie now jumps in. Let's see, half the retribution will have the orange buff.
Kyrie got it.
Yeah, Kyrie got it with the retribution. That's why he got it. Geek Slates, they will not have a response. Beloyski gets taken out top side. And ONIC, they're showing dominance here in the early game.
It's full early game control to ONIC. There's not much Geekslate can do. Neutral objective control, nope. And even in the winning lane that they really banked on with the Diggy pick, CW, they just got them beat with the Hilda. Hilda versus Beatrix smashes Diggy, I guess, right now. You can see it even with Chidera on the Melissa. With that Inspire, it's not enough to sustain from the base damage of this Hilda.
Actually quite surprised with the turn of events here, but Boots might be caught.
Boots, 2v1, still have the flicker, but in the mid side, a boy caught. Geek trying to find compensation here, trying to find a kill bot side, and the turret gets it though. ONIC now responding with aggressive movement top side. E-boy moving on to Kadera, pops the go away. CW out of range. Take a look at bot side again. Jana trying to soak in the damage. Wave Dragon connecting. Not enough damage though, it seems like, but I might be wrong. Call alter pop. Kyrie picks up the kill. Luke will not be able to cover his teammate as he will too run away.
See, that's what I was talking about, right? The response coming in from ONIC, it's so quick. But looking at the talent of prediction, Goni versus the world at the moment, the only one to vote for ONIC in this current game, and it's looking quite good for him. ONIC very, very aggressive. They have huge map pressure, and they're winning in almost all the objectives right now.
Rare thing to see, seeing ONIC alone.
Yeah, the first time ever, I think, in season 11.
Season 10, I think, no?
Maybe.
ONIC alone? What? But yeah, again, let's see. ONIC will take the turtle comfortably, it seems like.
There's not really much that Geeksay can do. Again, they're literally just banking on the fact that they'll try their best to reach that mid-game, to minimize the gold lead and get the Melissa ahead. Because at this point, I don't even think they can think of getting ahead. They can think of equalizing the gold lead, right? They're banking on a mistake from the side of ONIC. Maybe an overcommitment, one slight mistake where they can turn the gold lead around and have some more pressure on the map. Because as it stands right now, if they go for neutral objective takes, if they force 5v5s, it's just going to be ONIC stomping them in team fights, right? Take a look at the in-game equipment here by Dunia Games. Melissa, 7 minutes in the game, still not even close to that golden staff. I believe he is going to go for the DHS first though here. Maybe, yeah, it should be the DHS now. So he's going to the DHS, and in 7 minutes, if you don't secure the DHS when you're up against a laning Beatrix, who scales pretty crazily into the mid-game with the BOD and the Fury Hammer bot, now with the Malefic Roar, man, even the frontliners won't be able to soak in anything. Luke only has a Steel Light Plate and a Dominance Ice.
She's so behind. She's so behind. And meanwhile, Beatrix already has a power spike. It's not looking good. Geekslate, they need to be able to buy time and not overcommit.
Beloyski down first. Sans pops the call alter, but Keyboy on towards the backside as well. Will fall though in the hands of Jana. Kyrie trying to find an engage. Does not get it. ONIC 1-for-1. Keyboy for Beloyski.
I think this is the right opportunity for ONIC to go for these aggressive plays, right? And it's that small window of opportunity where Geekslate hasn't really reached that power spike, whereas ONIC does. And you can see them really going more aggressive and more aggressive as time passes by. And you can see, like, Chidera is just so far behind right now. It'll take her quite a long time to get those important items to be able to dish out the damage that CW is already dealing here in the 9th minute.
2,000 gold lead in one lane is massive, right? I mean, in terms of the levels as well, you can see a 2-level differential from the side of CW and Chidera. Hunter Strike now as well. On top of the Malefic Roar, the BOD. Geekslate are looking for Keyboy here. It's a good knockup and a reverse time.
Oh my god, it seems like he will not be able to escape even the go away. What? So let's see, 5v4, will Geek able to somehow steal this away.
Oh, they're going for it?
Kyrie finds it, but take a look at the call alter. Oh, the damage is just too much. Sans finding one.
Oh, wait.
Jana in the backside though will be taken down as well. CW and Boots in the front side will not be able to. CW hitting 3 members for 3 here from each side.
Jadera might have chosen the wrong target there. He opted to move bottom to actually go for Kyrie instead of helping a boy and Luke to go for CW, which in the end caused it to be an equal trade. Still, it's good for Geek Slate, but remember, the shutdowns are not on Sans, Boots, nor is it on Keyboy. It's on CW and Kyrie. These 2 bounties are basically what they need to get back on track.
It was a messy team fight for Geek Slate. Honestly, I'm not really sure if it was miscommunication or Chidera panicked a little bit and ended up just looking for the closest target at that point. But right now, once again, ONIC, because they were able to get the Lord, they are going to be able to have the better map control once again. All 3 lanes are pushing. Geek Slate, they need to find a way to buy themselves time, but I'm not sure if they can at this point.
Oh, 1 shot, 1 kill. The Loisky, the roamer, insta-deleted. ONIC now looking for the siege. Lord is marching top side. Bot Innert's turret will be taken down, no problem. Top and mid base turret passive. Base turret passive is up, it's down. Now Luke trying to move on towards Kyrie, gets a taunt in, but Kyrie will still have enough HP to escape. And it's just, ONIC just maintaining pressure.
This is what we saw in Season 10 when Beatrix was busted, right? Every single time, always first picked, and here we're seeing it. Just because CW is so far ahead, it feels like a Season 10 Beatrix. My goodness, these snipes landing, it feels like even the old hitbox. The Brenner has been nerfed. The hitbox is not as big as it was before, yet CW makes it seem like it is still the buffed Beatrix. It's, oh my goodness, and the item speaks for itself. On top of the Hunter Strike, now he has the Heptases, and it doesn't look like he wants to stop. I think he's going to go for the Haas Claws. Doesn't need to go for the Wind of Nature, and it makes sense at this position. Meanwhile, look at Chidera, only at 2 items. Oh my god, 4-2, about to be 5-2, right? Finally gets the 3rd item here, and this is where Geek Slate actually has a bit more to play with, the Power Spike. But the thing is, the Power Spike is hit so late into the game that Geek Slate's Power Spike, that Golden Staff is no longer a Power Spike. He needs to wait for the Melvic Roar now, and then, only then, will they be really able to force these fights in a way that they actually have a way to win.
They need to buy time, like I mentioned. They need to buy as much time as possible.
Oh my,
because look at the player's gold by UBS. Even the distinction is so far. It's difficult, right? Because I mean, like you mentioned, Miracle, I completely agree with you, right? Getting the Golden Staff is a huge power spike for Chidera if ONIC hasn't built physical defense. But the fact is that they have. So they're already operating 2-3 steps ahead. And Geek Slate, they're catching up. Look at the gold difference, 8,000, 6,000 in total. And they're going to be able to get a Lord uncontested. It's not looking good for Geek Slate. They need to find, once again, enough time to be able to get those power spikes, finally.
Looking at it again, I mean, the items, I'm just looking at it. The Keyboy has the Blade Armor. The only physical defense technically is on Keyboy, so the Golden Staff might just be the proper power spike they need. But Cho as well. I think they're going to utilize it. The reason they're not stacking the physical defense is because they're so ahead and they can use their mobility. Cho can walk out of the muddles. The sprint, obviously, from the side of Keyboy as well, and even the Vengeance, right? A lot of these targets won't be... They won't stand still. They will always be moving, and they have so much mobility to get out of the muddles, and that may be just the reason as to why Chidera hasn't had a big...
What the...
One shot.
One kill again, and there you go, 5v4. The sign for war, Jana falls as well. Base mid-turn will fall. Bootstone will be taken down in the process. 4v3, a boy, half HP sound as well. Kyrie jumps in, go away, pop and CW gets the godlike. Lord is still very much healthy. Sounds flickering forward, CW will die in the process. But now, look at the boys. It's gonna be ONIC taking game 2. Let's say hello to
ONIC.
It's ONIC.
In the early game, he didn't even bother with the boots, right?
No
Instantly
need.
Fury Hammer, more physical damage as well with the Legion swords. And it was just an insane early, mid, and afterwards a late game when he was able to get those one-shot kills onto the members of Geekslate.
Yeah, and I really want to highlight how ONIC executes these fights, you know, because early on, or maybe in game number 2, we saw that the Faramis, this whole composition from the side of Geekslate is very good for team fights, but they're always split in a way where they're never clumped up, and it gives so much room for CW to just deal damage for free, right? Because everybody's scrambling across the board, and we'll see. Oh my god, beautiful snipe there from Beloy. I mean, from CW to Beloy. He just hates Beloy. And here, okay, I'm just finding a moment to actually pause, but they're, again, backing up so well. But again, these are just moments where they stomp. There's nothing here. There's nothing here. ONIC just stomped them, basically, in these team fights, and they lose that gold lead in the end. I wanted to highlight how in the early